Just want to make sure I've received, Mr. Liddell, a document signed with you and your attorney that says if there is a guilty verdict that you would want to go to the jury for punishment. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else pre-trial that we need to take care of before we get started with jury selection? All right, y'all can have a seat. Everyone else that's here for a jury, you're excused. We'll get you on the next available trial docket. Thank y'all for your patience.
Thank you.
And we'll get the jury seated and assessed. I'm the judge here in the 252nd District Court. I want to thank you first all for being here. I do see several empty seats, which I hate because it makes it hard for us to do our job when we have people not show up. So I appreciate you all for being here. We will do our best today to get through this process of jury selection, as quickly as we can, but also as thoroughly as we can. The first thing that I'm going to do is ask you all, you can remain seated, but ask you all to raise your right hand and take the oath. Do you and each of you solemnly swear that you will true answers give to all questions propounded to you concerning your qualifications as a juror, so help you God? Thank you. And so what I'm going to do first is go through what the qualifications are to be a juror, and then I will ask you all if any of those qualifications might pertain to you or affect you. And what we'll do is have you each come up one at a time up here in front of me, and we'll go through that if there are any of you, and we'll determine whether or not you can serve or not. So the first thing is that you have to be 18 years of age or older. You need to be a permanent resident of Jefferson County. So if you have moved permanently out of Jefferson County since you've signed up, we need to know that. We don't anticipate the trial to take longer than this week, and so we just need you to live here for this week permanently. If the second or the next is that you must be of sound mind and good moral character. I will make the assumption that all of you who showed up to do your civic duty probably meet that criteria. So again, thanks for that. You must be able to read and write the English language. If you have served on a jury, so not just this jury selection part, but if you've actually been on a jury in the last 6 months, and that trial lasted longer than a week, went into the second week, then if it's been within 6 months, you could get a pass for this week, and you can let me know that at the appropriate time. You cannot have been convicted of a felony or of a theft of any level, and you can't be under legal accusation or indictment for a felony or a theft of any level. That's it for the qualifications. And so what I will do at this point, I'm just going to go row by row and ask by a show of hands if one of these or any of these might apply to you. And so I'll start on the first row over here. Does anybody over there think any of these qualifications apply to you? First row coming this way. Second row coming across that way. Second row over here. Coming back to the third row on that side. Third row coming across this way. And then the back row, anyone on the back row? Perfect. That makes it easy. So I'm going to take just a quick break so the court reporter can come sit down and get a little closer so she can hear all of you in just a few minutes. All right, so for your service today, you are all going to receive a whopping $20. Contain your excitement. And after today, you would get $58 a day if you were to serve on the jury. Obviously, those amounts are not meant to compensate you for your time. We know your time is much more valuable than that. That's just an amount that the state has available to give you as a token of appreciation, really. You're welcome to keep that take yourself to dinner. That's probably about all it'll pay for nowadays. There are also two local funds that you can donate that to if you would like through that jury selection system online. One is the Compensation to Victims of Crime Fund, and the other is the Children's Welfare Service Fund. Both of those help people here locally who've been affected by the criminal justice system. And so that's really it for the qualifications. And so what I'm going to do now is go through, I will introduce everyone that's here, go through what the case is that we'll hear this week, and then go through just some housekeeping matters with you. And then I'll briefly go through some legal principles that apply in all cases. Then I'm going to turn it over to the attorneys, and they're each going to have an opportunity to visit with you. The whole purpose of this process, which is actually called voir, which just means to speak the truth. It's exactly what you took an oath to do. Just answer the questions that everybody asked of you truthfully. And the reason for that is because certain people would not make good jurors on certain cases. You have personal experiences that you've been through that might affect your ability to be fair in any given type of case. An example that I give is that let's assume you went to dinner last night, and when you came home, your house had been burglarized and ransacked, and precious items were taken that are irreplaceable. And then you show up for jury duty the next day, and the case is a burglary of a habitation case. It may be a little soon for you to be fair in that kind of case. You may feel so bad about it that you don't feel like you could ever be fair in that kind of case. Or you may be able to say, you know what, that was my circumstances, my experience. I can put that aside and base my decision, in this case, only on the evidence that's presented. That's what the lawyers need to know, kind of what your experiences are, how you feel about the law, and things like that. And so that's the purpose. No one is here to embarrass you or put you on the spot about something that you may not be talking about in front of 50 or so of your new best friends. So if a question is asked of you that you are not comfortable answering in front of everyone, all you have to do is say, I want to talk in private. And at the end of this group process, we'll take a break. All of you will excuse yourselves from the courtroom, and then we can bring whoever we need to talk to individually one at a time. So what we don't want to happen is for you to have some information that might affect your ability to be fair, but you don't share that. You end up on the jury, we're a day or two into trial, and you stop and say, you know what, I can't do this. What could happen at that point is potentially we would have to start all over and go through this process. And we have another case set next week and the week after. So all that does is get us more behind for that. Also, there are times after the attorneys and I talk to you that you're thinking, you know, I wish they had asked this, or maybe I should tell them something. Please don't hesitate. I'm going to give you an opportunity to let us know anything that you think might affect your ability to be fair. Just because the question wasn't asked does not mean we don't need to know that. Even if it's maybe insignificant, you think, let us know, let the attorneys know, let them decide once you tell them that. All right? And so the case that is going to be tried this week is cause number 23, DCCR 0783, and it's styled the State of Texas versus Lenny Ray Ledette, who's charged by indictment with the offense of sexual assault. The punishment range for this offense is between 2 years and up to 20 years in prison and or a fine of up to $10,000. Again, we don't expect the trial to last longer than the week, so we just need you to be able to commit for a few days this week. Representing the state, we have Assistant District Attorney Luke Nichols.
Yeah, okay, everybody.
And sitting with him, we have Assistant District Attorney Pam French.
Okay, Mark.
And then representing Mr. Ledette, we have Mr. Todd LeBlanc.
Good afternoon.
And the defendant, Mr. Lenny Ledette.
Good afternoon.
And then you can see, obviously, the court reporter, Ms. Tanner, who's moved down. It's important that she is not taking down just what I say or what the attorneys say, but also what all of you say. And so when we call on you to answer a question or something like that, we're going to call you typically by your name and your juror number. We'll do our best to do that so that the record is as clear as it can be who's talking at what time. Okay? Yes, ma'am? Okay, Okay, we'll get with you in just a second, ma'am, okay? And so what I'm going to do now is ask each of you, again, we're going to go row by row, if any of you know any of us. Just because you know one of us or somebody involved in the trial does not mean you can't participate in the trial. We just need to know who you know, kind of how you know us, and if that relationship would make you feel like you could not be fair in the case. All right, so we'll start on the first row. If you'll raise your hand and keep it up on the first row until I answer. Let's see, number 3, Mr. Clark. I know you know me, just personal friends. Is there anything about that that would make you feel like you couldn't be fair? And then, do you know anyone else involved in the trial? Mr. Clark, do you know anyone else? Just me. All right. Number 4, Ms. Stevens, do you know someone?
No, I'm fine, Jimmy.
Okay. Anyone else on the front row coming over this way know any of us involved in the trial? All right. Second row on that side. Second row coming across this way. Let's see. Is it number 28, Mr. Blaylock?
It's been jury trial on 2 years with you as a judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have to hear it all again. My bad jokes and everything. Is there anything about that that would make you feel like you would not be fair in this case? Thank you, sir. Anyone else that I missed on the second row? Let's go back now to the third row then. Let's see, third row, is that number 37?
Yeah.
I'm sorry? 30, Miss Wallace.
Yes. I just met Mr. Nichols that I don't know. I mean, I don't know him personally or anything.
Okay. Is there anything about that that would make you feel like you couldn't be fair? Thank you, ma'am. Third row, I think I saw another. Is it, let's see, 33, Miss Birdsong?
Yes, ma'am.
And who do you know?
It's in a jury trial or with you.
So you get to hear both of our bad jokes again today. Is there anything about that that would make you feel like you couldn't be fair in this case?
No.
Thank you. Anyone else? Let's see, third row coming across this way. Let's go back to the back row then. Anyone on the back row? Let's see. Is it number, are you the 53, Miss Schneider? And who do you know, ma'am? Right, and so your husband works for my husband, correct? Is there anything about that that would make you feel like you couldn't be fair in this case? Thank you. Anyone else that I missed that knows any of us here involved in the trial? Okay. And so, wait, Mr. Nichols and Mr. LeBlanc, y'all come up just for a second.
Miss Kelly. I agree. Yeah, great. Everyone's gonna react different. For sure. Simply because everyone has different feelings. So you never really know how hard it will get someone to not only go through it, you have to face it after that. Work with that. The reason I bring all this up is every case is going to be difficult. There's not a one-size-fits-all playbook that victims go through where they're all going to take the right steps to do the right thing and everything else, right? You might just need to know you need to do it a certain way. I think we can all agree everybody's different. They're going to react in different ways. Is that fair to say? A couple of things I want to get from y'all, and I'll give us more background. I know several people have said they've been on criminal juries in this courtroom before. What I want from everybody is I want to know if you've been on a criminal jury. If so, what kind of case was it? What happened? And it's not that being on a criminal jury makes you a better juror now. But I do like to know to go through this and know the process. So I'm going to start with this first frame. But my leg, y'all right side down to this side. Criminal jury, sir. Stronger. Yes, sir. Can you tell me about it? Yeah, yes. How long ago was it? You got practice when you gave her a short. Yes. Down this way. Right. Right past the. Okay. Do you know what that base was? I guess stable. Okay. Okay, also, they won't buy. I wouldn't say it was from. It's like, these two guys were friends, but they had drug issues. You want to go into detail? Not really. So they were my own like that. Well, what was the end result? Yeah, we found an idea. Okay. And, do you know from the felony or misdemeanor? Well, the 12 hours felony. Okay. Right. Hey, last section. On this side. Yes, ma'am. Criminal.
Sexual assault, standing sexual assault and being thorough. Found guilty, Genesis in court.
Next door, okay. Thank you. Anybody else in front row? Second row on this one. Oh, DWI case? DWI, was it this one or that? Or 6 or 12, yeah, do you know? I think it's a first or second DWI, so they can miss it. We know it's, her third. What was the end result? At that time, not like guilty. Okay. Yeah. Last month section, criminal jury. Is that?
It's been several years ago, guys.
James Stevens.
No. No. Yeah. We might have their results out there.
Right, he's already verdict. Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. When jump on the aisle, the son, you need criminal jury service. Yes, sir. We're on the trial. You're 20 minutes blind law. Yes. Yeah. Now you have a start.
Huh?
Was that, you said it was murder of a child?
Correct.
Was that, was it a baby? You talking about the guys?
Right, so then.
Sure. Yeah. Child starved guy, right? Alright, you can take a policy you train them, sure. That's horrible. Y'all sound guilty, right? Can do. Anybody, third row on this side? Miss Marks.
Yes. Where's murder trial?
And you said month?
Yes.
Oh, what do you got? What? Sorry.
Sorry, because I'm the guilty? Yes.
Do you remember what kind of, what happened?
I know it was summer that happened in Old Town, where the guy, shot another guy.
Was it drug or anything? No, that?
It was in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Right. Anybody else criminal jury service? Yes. Martin? Do you remember what? Yes. Was that next door? Next home. Or is that, I don't remember, so long ago. Oh, okay, about 20 years ago. Okay, so I will look at that. What is that? What you ready for 20 years ago? Now, I'm gonna jump over to this side. The criminal jury service on the third row. Don't see your hands. You don't tell, I missed my way to go. See you this once.
Sexual assault ever. Innocent.
You're number 32, correct?
So Judge Stevens Court and found guilty.
Okay, thank you. Is somebody else on the third row? Sit back row, fourth row.
Yes, criminal.
Can you tell me about it?
This is your case, found not guilty. I can't recall the judge, but it was over 10 years ago.
When you cross the street?
He said this guilty.
Here it goes. Drug case, not guilty. You're not 45 in the count. Okay. Next one, Travis.
DWI. Guilty.
Anybody else? Criminal jury. Don't see a reference. Like I said, it doesn't make you necessarily a better juror. I just like to know what kind of cases people have been through. As you probably can tell by listening, we always do murder cases around here. It's scary how often people who've been on criminal jury say, oh, I did murder cases. And that's really not the point of the question. Also, a lot of y'all are retired, and some of y'all put what y'all do while you're working. If you're currently not working, you're retiring between jobs, that's what I do want to know what y'all are doing for a living, or what you did primarily before. Anybody from retired, not working? What kind of work you normally? I was football coach. Oh, the chicken tournament? Yeah, no. Okay, so you coaching? Thanks. Anyone else from around? Second one. Yes. Retired from Jackson County, precinct for the road and rain. Okay. Who was information on your work? Senegal. Alright. Good deal. Criminal damage now?
Retired.
From what?
From
What did you do there? What were you, correctional officer or?
officer in our trial comes in.
Okay. Thanks, man. Sorry,
Sorry, Jack, it's clear.
should I know that? Sorry.
I recently retired from major wrong with insurance. Okay.
What did you do?
I was a, track judge.
Okay. Thank you. Go down the road. Well, Sam, just federal first. Retired, not working. Did you hear anything before? What?
As a discussion, military police.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine, correct? They're correct.
Between jobs. Yes, between jobs. I worked actually a lot of different jobs. Financial mostly. Then I also worked for the county clerk for a while. Worked for the post office for a while.
Okay, yes. All right, thanks. Next door. And next door is Mr. Landry. I'll tell you what, send out a card. I'm retired. What? All right, so, negotiation remain. Okay, thanks. And, next door is just, from our dental. Third, fourth time's probably another shot.
Medical management consultant.
Okay. Somebody else on this, John? Now, he says. Hello, detail part here, go over that, your penis. So he get, probably in the young. You start thinking around your Japanese before. Well, there's a else, right? $100, some people never, some people have it, right? Well, be nice. Now, next door, and I'm sorry, you were number yourself, correct? Yes, sir. You started again? And next door, Mr. Bell. Yes, I was, okay, thank you. You're number 4, yeah? I'm gonna jump back forward. Retired, not working, between jobs, yes? Retired, cool. No show. Thank you. Anybody else on this record? Yes, ma'am.
Laura Child, special education teacher. Right on my part-time jobs right now.
Right. That's Ms. Higgins. And you're number 49. Okay. Anybody else on the end? No. Thank you very much. Those fascinating what people do for our area. Probably 1/4 of every jury is works for a school district. The other 4 is getting working in a refinery plant. There's always a few sick. It seems like those are pretty great support. But it's always nice to hear folks do. If y'all find this main judge, y'all be asked yourself this question. Question, sexual assault in the state of Texas is a term of 2 to 20 years. To qualify as a juror, you have to consider that full range of punishment. It's not a trick question. Consider means you can give it as little or as much consideration as you want. You have to consider. And the stupid analogy that I like to use is I'm going to be rocking a cafe. If you're doing there, it's kind of moving to the same table. So, and I go in there once a week and I get something different almost every time. But what I never do is get litter numbers. Okay. Yes, thank you. Now, I wonder why they waste time on that. I'll quiz that a lot of the best things out. Just because I'm not going to eat it, don't mean I don't consider. I walk by and say, okay, they're really nice. But I consider. So the answer to the question to consider anything from 2 up to 20. I already said I just can't think of it. I'm living there 12 years. When you don't know the fact of the case, you don't know anything about physically or death. You don't know anything about why we're here. And so without that knowledge, you can't give, you're not asking commit some punishments. What we need to know is that you can consider the full range. The legislature sets the penalty ranges for offices. That's not to do on things like this, to see. So there might be situations where 2 is fine. a lot of situations that fall this way. Y'all will make that decision if y'all find a guilty verdict. You might think that you tell me right now, I cannot consider it for it. You got no problem with that, right? You don't see any hands. Okay. We're gonna go through some witnesses that I expect the best trial to have state Texas. And I want to know if y'all think you might know these people are there. Starting before our police department, Detective Cameron Snow, Officer Angela Scroggins, former
Mr. Nichols, you have a hand.
So I scored. I used to know Angela Scroggins law. Okay. Well, so you know her, would that be a problem for you? Would you, no, it was like, was a customer with my law firm. Would you give her testimony more or less way of credibility than anybody else? Okay. Thank you. That's not gonna be a problem for you. She can sit on the jury, she testifies. Okay. Now, you can do number, 20 minutes to play off, right? Thank you. Don't miss the other hands. Yes, ma'am. So, you know, Detective Snowden, and you are 21 rounds. How do you know Detective Snowden? Okay, no, haven't heard yet. Okay. Are y'all both friends? Yes. You know, yeah, that issue for you, and she got started here. I'm gonna shoot her any different than the other person like this. Okay, thanks. You're right. I don't see other hands. No one else tell me the other hands. Investigator Corey Robinson, who actually works in the office now, and he's being part of the police department. Am I no choice? Okay. Does anybody know a lady named Tiffany Giants? Well, Port Arthur, I believe, lived here a long time. Danny Slider, who they never shall testify. I'm seeing hands. Okay. Does anybody know Justin Williams? Also from Port Arthur, City of Port Arthur. Okay. You might know TJ High School. Oh, yeah, Port Arthur. Or the Snowy. What did y'all rate? You want to do that for it? 85, okay, that's not time frame on folks. Alright. That's the hand guy? Anybody else? Okay. Does anybody have something they say done or the JG to know about? This is one of the times where we can do a private meeting. Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Private, okay.
What's the name and number?
And you are, Miss Rogers, number 46, is that right? Who's your friend called? You'll be probably this low. Okay. And you are, number 19, Miss Jones. Whatever hands are upset. Right. Number 29, Trey. Is Bart on your thing?
Yes.
Same thing? Okay.
I just, I think she worked in a suicide crisis center, and an aspect of my job was that I presented with victims of sexual assault who were having their sexual assault examinations completed.
Okay.
I just wanted them to be.
Okay. Okay. You present to those exams, you know how to work.
Yes.
Anything about that experience, that would make you more or less, balancing if you are in the bondage chair. Would you lean one way or the other?
No.
Alright. Thank you, Ms. Grayson. Anybody else have something to think I should know about? Yes, ma'am. Okay, you know, 23, the plaintiff?
What is it? I'm sorry? 23.
23.
Thank you.
Any other hands? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Schneider? Okay, anything about that that would predispose you one way or the other in this case? Okay. Then listen to him. Yes, ma'am, number one. Okay. So I have function and policy private as of now on 1, 23, 19, 29, and 46. Alright? Then let's see that. Well, I have a reason they can't be here virtually. It's free break. If you're getting on a plane with your kids to Disney World Wednesday morning, right? Oh, I don't expect this case to go, maybe next week. We'll probably be done Thursday, Friday. If you have something, you can't miss, doctor doesn't think they're scheduled any medical problem, you caretaker from somebody you know that's, does anybody have anything like that? I see no hands. So nobody's going to get you on this one. But that is my time. I thank you for your attention, participation. Like I said, we should do this still, sure. So thank you for carrying out what happens in the community with you. And I'll pass it over to Mr. Wall.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Mr. LeBlanc, you can go ahead.
Perfect.
Sure. Mr. Nichols. Right, so what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, just in case anybody needs to take a break so we don't have an issue in the middle of Mr. LeBlanc's examination, it's 2:35, almost 2:40. I'm going to take just 10 minutes, maybe max, on break for restroom. When you leave out of the courtroom, there's restrooms at the end on this floor, on the third floor, and on the first floor. And then there's also some down here on the second floor, kind of between the two courthouses that are attached. Please don't talk about anything that we've talked about so far. Just kind of go take a quick restroom break, wait outside, and the bailiff will get you in as soon as we're ready for you. Both doors are unlocked. You can leave out either way. You're all excused.
And one guy, that's my graduated by him, a long time ago. It's not even criminal. I'm saying, value as criminal. You should do family law and law against me. People don't have law against me. I can't do criminal law. I can't represent people like that. We charge fines out there. I always tell them, divorce is not the same. I mean, I'm doing that. This is much easier than people fighting like that. So, I believe in what I do, and that's why I appreciate y'all being here before we can. What's your name? Yes. You, you've been on the grand jury before, I think it's you know when that was, you tell me. Yeah, about procedure stuff. Yeah, so, right. That's what the things I made, what about the grand jury in this case? Before the grand jury. That's, I believe, what we do. Because we don't get inside through. You don't get too many people that have been on the grand jury. How's that community? It's next state. Yeah, food time, right? Don't you go? Yeah, probably. Probably, probably do it. One more question. Were there any defense lawyers there on the defendants? Did you heard from you? Oh. Did you hear any defendants? Defendants? Yeah. The invite over the defense side. Yeah, your phone? That's right. That's, grand jury process, we don't get an invite. We're not there sponsor. It's the same. So, when there's an indictment that's brought down, handed down, it's, only one time. It's the state presenting whatever they want to present, and they, really indict them from no little. So that's a one-time process. We should act. We don't get involved in it. We don't get involved. So. 34. I heard that you said that you are a clinical lab scientist. Yes. What? Can you tell me a little bit going through? Right now, I'm a clinical microbiologist. I process all kinds of bacterial cultures. I do viral PCRs, like COVID and flu and all of that. Before I was a generalist where I worked in my lab and I practiced blood banking, chemistry, and hematology. Nothing to do with DNA. Right. Well, these jars, you know, but not even examples. We're testing for virus disease rate. Yeah. In criminal case, I think that is your sound. We're done. Who has the government first? State and defense. Send it us. Everybody appreciate that. Which means, what? You have to prove everything in the indictment. Everything is out of the indictment beyond reasonable doubt. Um, we talked a little bit about beyond reasonable doubt. It's pretty high standard, I think. It's a high standard that we have. Right, make sure. Yes, why? That's right. What do you got? High soul of punishment? I'm sorry. Is there high soul of punishment? Yeah, the highest level of punishment. Well, maybe I'll include criminal cases as opposed to family law cases or some of y'all done civil juries, as opposed to what goes on now. So compared to the national juries against them, compared to their against kind of like this, you know, which wasn't serious yet. But criminal cases, that's actually, I'd say the reason why is before you lock up somebody, before you take away our citizen, life and liberty, you gotta be really sure. So, can everybody agree with me to hold the state to that argument? You know, this. It's really important matter because Constitution, right? So, same way as he has rights to start off his by his choice. If y'all agree with me not and going fast, if y'all agree with me not to hold any back against him, it's that not his job. Let me go same as thinking it's probably guilt, but I really need to hear from you defend. Or anybody feel that way. If you do that, it's understandable. But that's not our rules, our constitution. So they could remain silent. So there's nobody here that can tell you that you have to hear from it. Need to hear from it. You know, all those terms, power, duty, they justice, rights, it's constitutional rights, no point how. And I didn't take that very seriously. So at times I'm going to be objecting. We're going to have to, like you already had this conversation with them. We all agree not to hold that against them. And everybody agrees that if we have to do that, not hold it against them because they try to get on jobs. That's what we think. So, we talked a little bit, talked a little bit about consent. Um, and now consent, first consent, so we talk about consent for, as you know, because of the sexual assault. Um, consent always by verbal consent. Because that's the only way you have consent. Um, sure. Okay, what? You're shaking your head. What are the ways that consent? How can you consent to something? Consent. Yeah. Well, my question is, it's consent being hurt by the circumstances. Anybody have a problem with that? You can tell consent about circumstances. Obviously, it's going to come out, it's an act. Um, it's not consensual, then that's sexual assault. Um, so you consider all the circumstances involved, everything, and consider that consent was informed. You have to show anybody informed. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm sorry, again, okay, if somebody had to say yes, I consent to this, the lady left, I'm sorry, Cindy left, so I don't understand, okay, I'm going to be a little clear. You know, somebody that would quit me writing like that, and somebody got asked consent to this. It'll be inferred that it'll be inferred that person consumed by the actions by the whole just morality and all the spirits that you're going to hear the marathon and do it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, that's what they did. I'm sorry, you just raised that and then you think that what you have to know, I think you consider this and they say it's your as opposed to, yeah. Yeah. Does anybody not understand what I'm saying? Or, so, back to the original question. You're asking what different states there are in the state of Texas, or consent on the circumstances. There's a well, you know, we have consent that you. I don't think this has anything to do with this trial. This sounds. I don't know anything about this trial. Implied consent in the form of paramedic on seeing if somebody's incapacitated. Implied consent can be applied by the paramedic to take care of that. That's the point of this. Yeah, I'm sure they have to say I'm consent to this treatment, but the fact that they call them paramedics, the fact that they, trust. So, you all understand what I'm saying about just come by and verbalize my consent. From the circumstances, you call the whole down to the circumstances, which you're hearing. Okay? John, well, it sounds like I said, there's no communication back and forth saying, yes, I consent to this question. Exactly. Or not. I mean, if somebody leaves, obviously, that's it. Which leads me to, I want to make sure that you have chosen on this journey can, that it can be ways in all the evidence again before making a decision. I used to, well, first on Francis, I used to ask anybody when y'all had been great, when you can see, obviously, with the lawyer, anybody think I'm already did. Anybody think that? Um, well, this point, there is no problem till it's proven. There are no reasonable facts. Okay? Anybody have any questions at this point? You understand how I say that you can't, if you're on the jury, you can't fill in the gaps. Those gaps in the testimony that just not causes the sense that were beyond a reasonable doubt. You can't supply that information. You can't go out and get extra information. You can't assume something that wasn't present. Everybody understand that? Mr. Clark? Mark, did you said you were on the jury before this morning? Was it county store name? Okay. Yeah. Okay. And, okay, you said that they found. Yeah. Sometimes that's, it just wasn't proven beyond reasonable doubt. They said, yes, something happened. Yeah. Understand we win means and not filling those gaps in the puzzle that says, yeah, physically. Yeah, holding T-bar. That's any of us that are unfortunate to be charged with an offense. You're going to tell them to the department that that's pretty beyond a reasonable doubt. You don't just put people in jail because we think something probably happened. Right? And there were several events, wanted to come out about everything state before. And so the 33, did you, I had it written down, I think you said something about, what was it about this time? Because that and everything, I might want to talk to you.
So I previously worked at a record suicide hospital, and actually my job was to go to the hospitals with victims who have presented themselves for insane examinations.
All right. And this figure, you want it all as English for paper.
Yeah. I haven't worked there since 2018.
Man.
I haven't worked there since 2018.
About three. Anybody have any questions? If anybody still would like to, you can say on it if you want to speak to the judge. Anybody else? Need a picture? Oh, I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you, Mr. LeBlanc. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so some of you have already said that you had wanted to come in and talk private. I told you I would go back and ask if there's anything that you're thinking I wish they had asked or that you feel like might be important for myself or the attorneys to know. Is there anyone else who feels like there's something they need to share with us privately? So what I'm going to ask you to do is just for a minute, I'll have the attorneys come up, be real quiet just for a minute for me so we can make sure I have my list correct, and then we'll do the, let you know who all asked to. We'll make sure we didn't miss anybody. Mr. LeBlanc? Mr. LeBlanc?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call the names and numbers of those who either we need to follow up with or ask to come back in. I've got number 1, Lewis, number 10, Pierre, number 19, Kelly, 23, Landry, 29, Trahan, and 46, Rogers. Is there anyone whose name I didn't call that needs to come back in for any reason and visit with us privately? So what we'll do is we'll have to take a few minutes, obviously, with each of these people, and then the attorneys will have a minute to go through their list, make their strikes. Realistically, we're looking at 30, 40 minutes or so. And so I will ask everyone to gather back around at about 3:45. We'll try to be done by then. If not, just stay close by. The bailiff will get you in as soon as we're ready. If I told your name, when I release everybody, if you guys that need to come back in, just stay right by the door. That way we can get you in and out pretty quickly, and then you can go take a break and take a little walk, okay? All right, thank you.